Hi there, this is Tony Amendola, and I am talking with Chris Gordon on Hellblazer Biz.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, my lovely audience, wherever you are in the world right now. Welcome to Hellblazer Biz, the show where you get to have your questions answered by your favourite TV and film stars. Hellblazer Biz is brought to you along with the BS Podcast Network and the Britpod Scene Network, so get yourselves onto them and start listening to the amazing podcasts out there. But listen to mine first. Today I bring to you a great guest as always. It's another audio-only episode, I'm afraid, but YouTube will have a slideshow as I did with Klain. This gentleman has been on screen and stage for many years and appeared in many shows. Most notable would be as Master Braytak on Stargate SG-1, Edouard Kagame on Continuum and Gepetto in Once Upon a Time. I'm proud to introduce to you Mr. Tony Amendola. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. And how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
You're good. I'm sure you are over in sunny California right now, and I'm in
sunny and hot California right now.
True.
But yeah, we have plenty of sunshine. Yeah.
We've had sun today, but I think it's probably been what you'd call a really bad winter. We call a good summer's day. I think it's must be about 70 today, which is
70 is perfect, I think.
Yeah, it's a nice. That's a hot summer's day for us, so we can't cope. We have no AC, you see.
I know.
That's
yeah,
terrible.
It's sort of a shock when you get all of a sudden it's 80 degrees. It's sort of
yeah.
It's difficult.
It is. We go to Orlando quite often on holiday with my family, and when we're over there, it's great because you've got the heat, but you just nip into every single shop along the way just to get the blast of AC.
Oh yeah.
Over here, you get home and it's just as hot inside as it is out. So, oh well.
Yes, exactly. Like little ovens.
They are, yes. We've got a conservatory as well, and that's even worse.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Greenhouse. Anyway, I'd say I do appreciate you coming on. I've got some questions just to sort of have a chat through and find out a bit more about where you've been, things that you've done, and things that you're going to be doing in the future, which will be great.
Okay. Good.
Excellent. And obviously some of them have been sent in by fans as well. So I'm going to start off with this one. You've had an extensive and illustrious career behind you and still ahead of you, I hope, on screen, voice acting and stage. Is there a media which you prefer to do over the others?
No, really, it's the variety that makes it interesting. It's, the ability to go from doing a play and one month and then turn around and have the gift to be able to go off on location and work on an episodic or a film. I mean, that's the treat when you can do that. Now you have to understand that's hit and miss. I mean, in other words, you can be quite busy over a portion of time, and then you spend 3 months looking for work.
Yeah.
And that's as a matter of fact, there's an old saying, they pay actors for worrying and waiting, and the acting is actually free, because
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, the acting's the passion, isn't it? So that's when you're in that sort of when you follow your passion like that. So I guess that is free. It's all the, like you say, the months and sometimes months waiting and waiting.
Yeah, it is. But there are a lot of compromises that go with it. That's a whole other thing we can talk about, which is when your passion becomes your profession. Mm-hmm. It's easy when something is truly your passion.
Yeah.
You don't earn your living. You dedicate your life every single free moment to it. That is one thing, but all of a sudden when your passion and your profession cross over, there can be great joys and great sort of disappointments or compromise or any of those things. But still, it's I have no complaints. It's been a good life.
Well, that's really, really good to hear, and it's something that comes across a lot when I talk to people is about the compromises that you do have to make, and the fact that for every time we might see you on TV, for example, there may be 100 times where things haven't been as good, or you've 100 auditions, etc., to go through to get to that one part on TV. So it's a very, very hard work that I think a lot of people don't see and don't understand.
Right, and it's really it's sort of unexplainable, sort of with the things that happen. Sometimes you get roles that you maybe perhaps shouldn't have gotten, and you were in the right place, and other times roles that you're perfect for slip through your fingers. So it's very, very sort of strange, but again, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of finding this with this show that I'm doing, and obviously because I'm trying to build this into my passion. I'm going to try to turn my passion into a profession as well, eventually, when I've got enough experience behind me. But I'm finding the same. It's for every great guest like yourself that I have on, there's a lot of work which people don't see behind the scenes. When people throw a name at me to say, "Will you get this person on?" It's like, yeah, I'll try, do my best, because there is a lot of. I think the same with acting. If you need the passion, because with the amount of letdowns that you can get and the amount of, like you say, compromises that you have to make, if you haven't got that passion inside of you to continue, I think it'll probably be very easy to give up.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's cool. Excellent. I know you've also just recently, I believe, also been As You Like It. You did a one-night show at the Anteus over there.
Oh no, it's not a one-night show. It just opened and it runs until September 10th.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
No. It's a run. We do it for another 6-7 weeks, that's just another aspect. It's a bunch of actors in LA who created the company with the understanding that things happen very, very quickly here, and they're still committed to doing theater. Anteus, as a matter of fact, was sort of an earth spirit back in mythology, and the whole notion is actors who get their power from their initial power and experience was from the stage, and now have moved on to film and television, but still have a direct connection to that. So we created a format that everything is double cast, so that it allows people the liberty to go off and do other things, should you be lucky enough that they come along.
Yeah.
It's not an understudy situation. Both actors are equal, and actresses who share a part are equal. They're there at all the rehearsals, and then you just create a schedule where you rotate. For instance, I did it last night, and then I'll be doing the matinee tomorrow. And then next weekend I'll do it on. I'll be off on Thursday and do it on Friday and Saturday evenings. Anteus, and there's a lot of people, a lot of familiar names. If you go on the Anteus website, you'll be surprised the number of actors that are genre, who've done a lot of work in either sci-fi or other areas. So it's it's a gift, and we have a brand new theater now that we just raised money for. And completed. So cool. Life's good there.
Excellent. Sounds like a really good concept. I apologise for thinking it was one night. I think where I read it, I think it was the Broadway website. I misread what I'd seen. It's fine. But that sounds like a really, really good.
It opened last weekend and goes until September 10th. Should any of the listeners be in Los Angeles? So.
I'm sure I do actually have listeners out there, so if anyone's in that area, I'd say get down to the Anteus and see that.
But if they do check the calendar, because the casts rotate. People have come expecting to see a favorite actor or actress, and we don't want to disappoint them. It's all on the website, Anteus, ANTAEUS.org.
Okay, I shall. I'll tweet that link out as well to make sure.
Terrific, yeah.
No problem. I do like that concept though, where you switch it around with so everyone can sort of have their own get on the stage and people can have an opportunity to see their favourite actor on the stage as well. It's a great what's the word? Opportunity, I think, for people.
Yeah,
cool.
It's been lovely. Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, you've obviously done various voices and voiceovers, and I'm looking way back when here. This is on the original animated Spawn series, which I thought was absolutely perfect. It was a brilliant series, and you did several voices on there. I just wanted to think what you thought of the news of the forthcoming live-action version with Todd McFarlane.
Well, I mean, everyone's excited to hear that they're going to do that, but you just don't know what it's going to be yet, and you wish him well, and hopefully it'll be something that is really, really enjoyable and sort of lives up to its predecessor.
Yeah, definitely, because the animated series is spot on. I'm sure with Todd at the helm, though, he's the creator of it. So
absolutely.
As long as he brings some relevant
source.
Exactly. Also, this is another one. I've got a couple more from me there before we're going to ones from the fans. Once Upon a Time, that's another great series, which I'm still several seasons behind. Sadly, I'm trying my best to catch up. There's so many shows I have to sort of catch up on with work and etc. What was it like filming that? I mean, I can imagine it being very interesting aspects as an actor to have a fairy tale character and you've brought it into the real world. I mean, the whole dynamic of the show is just brilliant.
Yeah. It was. It's funny. I got a call for that to go in an audition, and my agent said, "Oh well, it deals with fairy tales," and I said, "Fine, sure, whatever." And then I went home and read the pilot script and thought, "Ooh, this is sort of a wonderful sort of notion because although it's not a retelling of the fairy tale, it really is sort of looking at what happened before a fairy tale, how things occur, how did Gepetto meet Jiminy Cricket, why is Jiminy sort of there, and also sort of what happens afterwards. So, that sort of intrigued me, and then the fact that it was, Adam Horowitz and Eddie Kitsis, who they're really wonderful, creative people. So it was a real gift, and you were never asked to be the sort of kind old man of sort of the Disney sort of previous incarnations. That was part of him. He certainly is kind, and he is. But occasionally there were some real fierce, sort of protective. I just tripped over my cat. Sort of fierce, protective thing. So it was quite a treat. And again, it was up in Vancouver, which is a place where Stargate and Continuum and I filmed so much up there. So it's sort of like a home away from home in many ways. So I had a great time. I had a wonderful time. Excellent. And I'm made my network singing debut in the in their musical episode of last season, which was shocking to everyone. I mean, I'm sure anyone who knows me thinks, really, the singing debut? But we made it work, and it was great.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really good to hear. I've yet to get to that episode, but I've heard so many good things about it, so I can't wait.
Yeah, it's fun.
Brilliant, excellent. I mean, you've also recently been in Shooter as well. I just thought I'd bring that one in. Eddie McClintock was on my show earlier this year. How did you find? It's obviously gone from like fairy tale stuff to espionage and shooting. How did you find that? I mean, was it one episode you did with the Shooter TV?
No. I'm actually in 4. Only one episode has aired.
Okay.
But I'm in 4 episodes of, and we were supposed to do 10, but there was a freak sort of injury, not even on set, off set. So this year we're only doing 8. Okay. But I'm in 4 of them, and I was the first one I appeared in, aired this week. That's the great thing. It would be like if you choose your favorite meal, the meal that you just love, and you ate it for 25 years straight, you wouldn't appreciate it anymore. You wouldn't savor it. You wouldn't necessarily your mouth wouldn't salivate at the thought of it, and so it's wonderful to have variety. As you say, from going to sort of fairy tale fantasy into harsh sort of military and sort of, it deals with sort of a sniper from Afghanistan and the Middle East and so many different things. It was fun. It's a marvelous series.
Yeah,
it's a
definitely.
very, very intense series. I play a priest, so that's been great. And also, it shoots near Los Angeles, and sleeping in your own bed is also a perk that is not to be underestimated. So.
Yeah, I've heard living life in a trailer for months on end while you're filming can take it out of you.
It can get old, yeah.
Excellent. No, I mean, yeah, you're right. Shooter TV is such an intense and great series. Nice to see. It's different as well, which is different to what other things which are out there, which has been brilliant. Okay, moving on to some questions I've got for some fans who've written in as well to send across. This is from Annalie Harriman. She would like to say she absolutely loved you in Stargate and Once Upon a Time. And she would like to ask, what was the role you've had most fun playing?
What was the role I had most fun playing? In a long-time series, and I'd have to say Stargate was, probably the role. In a one-off, meaning, just one episode and out, there is a very, I'm unrecognizable. There are two that really come to mind. One was in Angel, where I played I think the episode was called Are You Now or Have You Ever Been? And I played this very sort of demon of paranoia. It's the first time they go to the hotel, Annalise. And that was so much fun because, it's full prosthetic makeup and the character is really in left field, and so there's that. And then I also did, it was a short-lived series and very, very sad that it didn't continue, which was Babylon 5 Crusade.
Yeah.
And I had, again, a full prosthetic episode and what was fun about that, I didn't even recognize myself. I startled myself in my trailer when I walked by a mirror. I mean, I literally sort of jumped like, who, So those are two that come to mind as one-offs, meaning you're in and out.
Yeah.
But other than that, Stargate, because of the longevity and it's it was a little bit like going back to a family reunion, if you will, or a college reunion. You really got to know the people better. So. Excellent.
I mean, it's just a fantastic series all around. SG-1, brilliant. I've actually had I was at a Comic-Con last weekend and Richard Dean Anderson was there.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I never got to see him, unfortunately. I had a bad experience, to be honest. That was my first event as an official press person. And I got told off for taking photos. I wasn't allowed anywhere near the guests to interview them, despite the reason I was given a press pass was because I've got an interview show. And, I was like, oh, well, there you go. You live and learn.
Yeah, live and learn, because, that's a big, that must have been very hard for you and very chaotic,
Yeah, I kind of drove 350 miles down there to just for that show as well, and then didn't get anything from it. So, oh, well. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Now, which one was this? Which show?
That was London Film and Comic-Con in London.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I'm sorry about that.
That's right. It's a huge show. I mean, it was no one's fault. I think it was just the fact that it was a big show and a big sellout.
Yeah.
So, one of those things.
Well, there you go. Live and learn.
Exactly.
As you say.
I'll make sure I'm prepared for the next one.
Yeah.
I'll be more assertive. Brilliant. Okay, so moving on, Simon Barry Brisbois, who's a Canadian listener of mine, he's asked, he's got three questions actually. First is, how was your experience on Castlevania series on Netflix? Have you ever played some of the video games of the series before working on the show?
I'll be 100% honest. The last video game I played really was Pac-Man. I just like you're queued up with many series, I have the video games from many of the other things I've done, Fallout, and I'm currently doing World of Warcraft and other ones. I have them, so when things slow down and I can get someone youthful and adept at them, I will pursue them. But generally, I voice them and I try to research them Castlevania, of course, is an animated series. It was, it was great. I didn't know that much about it, but I loved, as a boy, all of the Hammer films and all of and sort of Dracula lore. I think I lost like 5th grade or 6th grade because I was in the back of the room reading, Bram Stoker, and Bram Stoker's sort of an interesting guy because if you're into the theater, he had a relationship. He was a manager to Henry Irving, who was one, as you probably know this, he was one of the great sort of late 19th century, actor-managers in Britain. So I've known about Bram Stoker, and Dracula was always something that fascinates me. So working on Castlevania was a treat, although it's a very obviously modern sort of take on it, and things are reversed, and so it was fun. It was a great job, and I believe they're going to continue. I hope so.
Oh, that'd be really good. Yeah, it's nice to see that kind of thing being brought about as well. And like you say, the whole legend of Dracula and the vampire. I mean, it's something you can get totally immersed in. I mean, I love Stoker's the original Stoker version, and I've always dreamed of traveling to Romania and going to see Transylvania and looking around.
Right. The closest I've got is Bulgaria. I've done several films in Bulgaria.
Oh, very nice.
But I haven't been able to. I stood at the edge of the Danube and was able to look across into Romania from where we were filming, but I wasn't able to get there.
That's a shame. I think Czech Republic's probably the closest I've been.
Well, Czech Republic's is beautiful too, but it's
Oh, it's gorgeous.
But place. Prague and Sofia, they're very interesting cities. Yeah,
definitely. Whitby as well. I've been to, so I can claim my fame that side. Cool. And the second question from Sue Martins, in Once Upon a Time, obviously being Gepetto. He's asking here, which you touched on before, obviously the series is shot in Canada, and he'd like to know what the difference in work atmosphere is between Hollywood and Vancouver. Is it easier or more liberating to work away from Hollywood pressure? Yeah. I would say it is. Now, in terms of expertise and stuff, it's North America, so I mean they're both very, very excellent crews and stuff. As an actor, the main difference, I think, is when you're out of town, particularly with a group of actors who are all out of town. There tends to be more socializing. Because you're back to the same hotel, you're arriving there, you have a beer, you go out in Bulgaria, you go out to dinner at night. It makes for long days, but all of the pulls on your time, family and other stuff, all of a sudden somewhat disappear when you're on location, and so you can get to know people better. I would say. So in that regard, being on location you can focus a little bit better than you can at home sometimes. It's not that one is better than the other. Often, the reason they shoot things in different places is, as well as the external, locations, it has to do with financial deals that are made, and concessions, etc. But, the other thing about Vancouver, you have to realize geographically, what's sort of so appealing about it is that it's 2.5 hours from Los Angeles. So to keep an eye on the show, an executive could fly out in the morning, drop his kids off at school, go to the airport, catch a plane. He or she can be on set and keep an eye on things if they so, and then fly back and kiss their children goodnight. So you can do that. There are very few places in the States you can do that. Very true.
And the other thing is that British Columbia or Vancouver is the warmest place in Canada in winter, so we don't often deal with snow up there.
Yeah.
You can have access to snow if you get away from Vancouver, but I was up doing Once Upon a Time. This past, I think, was the beginning of February, end of January, and things just stopped because we had like 4 inches of snow. It was so it just weren't used to it. It just so that's so the really I won't say there's any difference. except for what I said, which is the actors can focus more. There's probably a little bit more freedom, maybe for the executives, the showrunners, the people who are actually there. The Steve Perlman, who is he's not doesn't have people over his shoulder as much as you might have in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Excellent. That's a fantastic answer. I know another really good favourite of mine at the moment is Lucifer, and that had season 1 and 2 shot in Vancouver, and I think they've just moved it to LA now. But
which one is this?
Lucifer.
Oh, Lucifer! Yes.
Yeah, with Tom Ellis. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, they've just brought that to LA from Vancouver as well, but Vancouver's great. I mean, 2.5 hours flight from LA. I think it's about 11 hours for me. I've always wanted.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful city. You have to come and do the LA Vancouver sort of jump, and you'll see them both.
Oh, it is. When I knock James Corden off his top spot with my show,
absolutely,
I'll have the money to do it.
Well, do you do karaoke?
I don't know. I'm going to have to think of another gimmick.
You see, he's got the karaoke market,
He has, exactly. I'm going to have to think of another gimmick.
He's very entertaining.
He's brilliant. I wouldn't dream of doing it. Yeah, he's a fantastic guy, James Corden. I do actually have a TV pitch for my show, a TV version of it, which I'm hoping to put something forward very soon, which will be interesting. And it's different. It'll be different. It would never, ever be the same as James Corden now.
Right.
He's just too good.
He certainly is.
Excellent.
Yeah. Did you see him on stage? Did you see him do his...
No, I didn't, sadly.
What was it called? One Servant, Two Governors, or vice versa? I forget which one it was.
No, I missed it, sadly. I'd love to see him on stage, because he's just got that personality, which you really do. You just laugh with all the time.
Yeah.
And those karaoke shows, it's just a bomb. They're brilliant.
Very funny. Very, very funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's great when everyone plays along with it as well, which is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Excellent. So, moving last question from Simon himself. This has taken you a long way back as well, and it's actually to a show which I lost my entire teens to, is The X-Files, where you played the cigarette-smoking pontiff in an episode of The X-Files. He would just like to know, can you remember what it was like working on there? It was an episode directed by David Duchovny as well, which parodies The X-Files. He goes,
yeah, that one, for the longest time, as I'm certain you know, it shot up in Vancouver, so I didn't audition for it very, very much, being in L.A. And then all of a sudden, when it moved to L.A. That season, it was a real treat because Tia Leone was on that episode. Gary Shandling was on that episode. So it was great fun. I love the show, and also to do sort of a spoof of what Hollywood would do to the show. I thought, and Duchovny wrote it as well, I believe. Yeah. So it was a great treat. It was like it was a chance to work with all three of those people, and particularly Duchovny, who at the time who couldn't have been nicer, by the way. Mm-hmm. He was just great, easy to work with, and great sense of humor, and so it was. I love actors don't often. That's not the right. Actors sometimes we're doing shows that we may not necessarily personally like very much. Yeah. You do it as a job, and then there are special shows that you really, really like, and to get a chance to do X-Files was one of those shows. I got a chance to do West Wing, which was a show I loved. Awesome. A chance to do Chicago Hope, a chance to do L.A. Law. I mean, L.A. Law was, I think that was my first job in L.A. And that was a show I had been watching when I was working in the regions, doing a lot of theater, and et cetera. Yeah. So X-Files was a treat for me. Excellent.
Yeah. Brilliant. I've actually got to say, when I did acting in school, I will never ever forget my one moment. I was Drake the Butler in Annie. And
there you go.
Yeah, and I actually used David Duchovny's one of his. I think he was doing. I can't remember. I think he was being possessed by someone. It was in an earlier season, so it would have been in the early '90s, one of the first or second season. But he was doing something, and I just walked on, and I was copying Mulder from X-Files, when I just
there you go.
I was like, Daddy Warbucks, it's the FBI, and people just said you said it with such disdain. That was the one memorable. They said it was the most memorable moment for them, so that's always stuck with me for 30 odd years after.
Good.
So yeah, the X-Files is it's there. The whole box set's up there. It's one I'll never grow old of.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I've got Enemy Birds. That's the Twitter name. Who is at Spike Ghost. Would like to know if there's something you would have liked to have done with Edouard Kagame on Continuum, or a side of him you would have wanted to explore that never happened for one reason or another.
Yeah, Kagame on Continuum was a real gift, and I just want to tell you a little side story. The guy who was one of the executives with Simon Barry was a guy, Jeff King, and he's a writer who is on a number of series, and he. Actually, when they created, when Brad Wright and Jonathan Glassner, when they created the character of Braytak on Stargate, he was the one who wrote that episode.
All right. Okay.
Jeff King, and that was the direct lineage to, in a kind of way, to doing Kagame, and because he always tried to figure out how did that happen, and so yes, so Kagame, I think, you create stories in a kind of way, and. I guess the one I wanted to explore is the way it fell out. I had my most direct connection in Continuum was to Lexa Doy. She was the one who I created that. Basically, I created this whole thing, and I wish we could have explored that more, because it would have had to do with her mother and how she got involved and our connection. And you do that, too. And so that was an aspect, the more domestic part of Kagame, because it's very, very interesting. I was doing Kagame simultaneous to doing Gepetto. Okay. And as a matter of fact, there were a couple of times I was doing this, working on 2 episodes at once, which is, can anything be better than that in terms of, there's a certain fatigue, but it's a delicious fatigue. And I've said this, you sometimes ask yourself as an actor where a person leads from, where what is it about them? And certainly with Gepetto, they lead from their heart. Yeah. They're not a deep-thinking person. Their wisdom is in their heart, and they trust that. Kagame was completely the opposite. Yeah. Kagame is he's a very gray character in the sense of his morals are questionable, and yet he believes completely in them. He's a very cerebral, mental, sort of about chess master, about 6 moves ahead. Right. He was always about 6 moves ahead, and including his own death. Yeah. And so that was intriguing to me to do those 2 simultaneous, and to have, I love doing that series. As a matter of fact, when I was up in Vancouver doing something Dirk Gently recently, and I got to visit with Simon Barry, the creator, and it's a special series. And so I guess for me it would have been the more how Kagame got to what it was. There was a little bit of it. You saw a little bit of it, in flashback. Yeah. But I would have loved to have explored that, and it's the only series I've ever been to where. How did they do this? Oh yeah, that when I was killed at the end of the first season. So the only way they could show me was in flash forwards, not flashbacks. Of course, it was flash forwards that they showed me, and there was something delicious about that, and I loved. I can't tell you how wonderful it was to reappear in the final episode. That was such a treat. Yeah. And again, in the final episode, you see a different side of him. As actors, we're always sort of looking for sort of what's behind the mask that is presented to an audience, you know, and initially you have to accept the mask of who you are. Very important for an actor and an actress to look themselves in the mirror and see themselves very realistically. try to see themselves in terms of what their impression is on a neutral viewer, you know, and to understand that and to use that in a kind of way as a kind of stepladder to initially start in the profession.
Yeah.
Always with the understanding that when the opportunity comes, you want to show more, you know, because we're all, you know, very complete people. We can choose not to show certain things. We may be afraid to not show certain things, but basically, you know, that's what we want as sort of actors. And so, you know, my treat of doing Gepetto and Continuum, it couldn't have been nicer. So.
Excellent. I say both at the same time, and it's very rare at all to have a flash forward. So you can rather than a flashback. So that's pretty nice, unique experience for you. Fantastic. Okay, moving on. I've got a couple of questions from the Twitter name is Delirium's Penguin, which is at Genie420, and she would like to know, first of all, what would you think happened to Master Braytak and the rest of the freed Jafar? She's always wondered if Braytak might have ascended.
No, I'm still waiting to ascend. I'm still waiting to ascend. No, you know, listen, I would love to do more Stargate, to have explored the character more, but we got quite a chance to go from, you know, the interesting thing about Braytak is he went from sort of a warrior into more of a politician. You know, as things, you know, it's so funny. You know, war is complicated enough, and you get to politics, and it's really, really complicated. So, you know, the only thing that wasn't explored in Braytak is again a similar thing of. I always got the impression that there was one angry woman running around the galaxy at Braytak, and I'd always wished that, you know, here's this guy, you know, and all of a sudden you hear Braytak, and you just see his back go up. You know, I always thought there was a Mrs. Braytak around or something. You know, and of course, you know, we never really got a chance to explore that. But
oh no, that's now you've got me imagining that. Mrs. Braytak coming around, with a stern expression on her face. Also,
take that. You leave your staff weapon out of the house.
Exactly.
No staff weapons allowed.
Exactly. Yeah. Leave it by the front porch.
Take off your boots. You know.
Okay. She's also asking. She says she actually adored General Hammond too, and she said Don Davis seemed like such a remarkable man. Rest his soul. And she would love to know if you had any stories about him at all, perhaps.
You know, Don Davis was, what he appeared like on screen. I mean, he was that authoritative, and he was that strong, and you know, with a strong compass of right and wrong. The thing that I think a lot of people may not be aware of is just how skilled he was at so many things. You know, he was an excellent artist, you know, both in so many different areas, in woodwork, in sketching, and I have some of his stuff that he gave me over the years, and so, I mean, and we traveled, you know, with Don and myself, and actually Carmen Agenziano too. When we'd sort of be on set together, we'd have Gizo lunches. You know, which we were the older character men, so we'd always get together. I have very, very fond memories of Don. As a matter of fact, and one of the fondest is we were doing probably London Comic Con or something. We were in London. I'm pretty certain it was, you know, a long time ago. And you know, we went to see a play together. And Don dragged me to every obscure little sort of artist bookstore in, you know, on South Bank. You know, it was really true, and I was really shocked. When he went so suddenly.
It was.
But and he's still, you know, people think of him so sort of warmly, and you know, ironically, he was just sort of a Braytak trying to figure out who Hammond was when he first understood. And Braytak had a connection to Hammond. Somehow when he met the crew, when he met SG-1, and, these were the guardians of Tilk. These were his fellow people he was fighting side by side. He was, really sort of worried and suspect. And that was great fun to play, particularly of Richard, who is the, but when he met Hammond, he got Hammond immediately. He thought, no, this is a man, this is a sort of guy I get. And so there was always a connection. So consequently, when I first hear about Hammond, there's a really wonderful moment that, which is Hammond of Texas, which is the first time I said that, fans really, there was just something about the way it came out. And so anyway, we miss him.
Yeah. So he was actually, he's shared a couple of shows with, well, not shared the same shows with you, but he was on. You've both done West Wing, you've both done X-Files as well, which is a.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don. Well, God, Don had done so many different things. He was a stuntman too, I mean,
I didn't realise
he did a bunch of different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's a big resume that he had. Very good guy. Cool. Okay, moving on to my last question that was sent in, and that is from Maslom Altung, and he would like to know what have you learnt from your acting roles. He's put mainly as Master Braytak, and he said he'd also like me to tell you Tek Ma Tek. I hope that's not swearing. Yeah, he'd like to know.
And you tell him Jaffa Cree. What have I learned? The great thing about being an actor is that you're allowed to put yourself into so many different situations through your imagination. You're allowed to put yourself into situations where in real life you would be arrested. But because of that, I think it's the whole thing about sort of walking a mile in someone else's shoes. I think there's a certain empathy that can develop and a certain sort of understanding or an attempt to understand sort of this strange contradictory thing that is being a human being. The sort of the dark and the light side of that. And so that's what acting has allowed me to explore, that I'm really, really sort of happy about. So I'd say, if anything, I think it's helped me to develop more empathy for people.
Brilliant. That's definitely a good quality to be able to develop. Sorry, wrong button. Quickly. Okay, moving on. Before I sort of end the recording, is there anything we can see you coming up in soon? I know you mentioned Dirk Gently before. That's a brilliantly quirky series.
Oh boy, is that brilliant! I'm in season 2.
Yep.
BBC America. That it's being done again up in Vancouver with Sam Barnett and Elijah Wood. Elijah, who I've sort of loved since one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Is a very odd Barry Levinson film called Avalon.
Right.
And Elijah Wood was probably all of 9 years old when he did that film. So I've been very familiar with Elijah Wood for a long, long time.
Excellent.
And so it was wonderful to work with him. It's season 2 of Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective.
That's the one.
And there's one thing probably people should know, is that one of the executive producers on that show is none other than Robert Cooper.
Okay.
Who was, of course, on SG-1, and so it was such a treat to go to Vancouver and to catch up with him. And so I have Shooter coming up, Dirk Gently coming up. I'm trying to think what else. I'm doing As You Like It. There's a film called The Shoe. I don't know when it will be released. That's a prison film that's very hardcore. The shoe means solitary housing unit, meaning solitary confinement.
Right,
its
okay.
effect on people.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
I'm trying to think. I've done a couple of shorts that I really, really, short films. One was called Cowboy, and another one is based on the writings of Thomas Ligotti, sort of very strange fiction, a really wonderful sort of existential horror, if you will.
Okay, is that Prophet in E minor?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, this one doesn't have a title yet.
Oh,
Prophet in E minor is sitting. Yeah, sitting there. None of them are probably on the on IMDb yet. And I'm trying to think, what else? World of Warcraft. I'm continuing.
The voices on that.
So it's been. I've had a very, very busy summer.
I can imagine.
And only now have things all of a sudden. You go from being really, really, have weeks planned out, your entire day on set for here, then you have to fly here, and then all of a sudden you hit. A completely open period, except for my play. So right now, again, is the time. It's the time of the hunt, if you will.
Okay, fair enough. And is there anything you'd like to, before I stop the recording? Is there anything that you'd just like to say to people who are listening, to your fans, before?
Yeah, I just want to say that I really, really appreciate you guys following me and taking an interest in my career, and for us sharing these worlds, because we do share these worlds of Stargate and Once Upon a Time and Continuum, Castlevania. We, the actors share this world with you guys, the fans. So I really appreciate it, and I'm at TM Amendola on Twitter. So follow. And hopefully we can meet it sometime. All the best.
Thank you so much, Tony, for allowing me to get an insight into your career and allowing the fans to ask the questions and hear from you. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed talking. This has been Chris Gordon on Hellblazer Biz with Tony Amendola.